Hi everyone, it is Fitz with your daily delivery. I hope you're doing well. I am good, fired up for another road trip. This is a fun schedule. It kind of stinks having the 4 at home, 5 on the road sequence. I agree with Chris Kleiman. Let's go to 5-5 and still play a power team in the non-conference schedule and one other warm-up team. Add as much value to that TV contract as possible, and playing Big 12 games does that. But here's what is amazing about me as this game approaches. We waited for so long for this football season to arrive. It never seemed like it would, and then it did, and now we're halfway done with it. We are halfway done with Kansas State's regular season. They've had 6 games and an off week. Ahead of them are 6 games and an off week, and it starts at West Virginia, and this game's important. But first, let me remind you that you need to subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the thumbs up, and leave those comments. Appreciate the comments. They feed that algorithm. Go algorithm. Rah, rah. West Virginia was the game that I picked at the start of the season to be the so-called linchpin game. I do this for every season. What game jumps out at me that feels like it will be the moment when Kansas State turns into a legitimate Big 12 Conference Championship game contender or falls by the wayside? My game last year was Oklahoma State, and, well, they fell by the wayside for the most part. They couldn't get enough help to get them to Arlington. But now they're in a position to basically help themselves. Let me be clear, they're not in control of their own destiny. They still need some other losses out there. But while we're halfway done with the season, we're only a third done with the Big 12 schedule. 3 down, 6 games to go, and they're a huge 6 games. But this one was my linchpin game. You come out of this with a win, and I feel like the schedule opens up and it becomes much more rational to think about a Big 12 title game berth. There's still plenty of work to go, and you can't take anything for granted, whether it's home or away in this conference. But this game, you get back-to-back road games, and if you win them both, it just feels like you're in control of things a little bit better. In fact, after this game will be the only time this season when Kansas State has more home games than road games ahead. And that first home game will be Kansas before their second off week of the season. You see where I'm going with this? You get through West Virginia and you then have an emotional rivalry game with Kansas. And I don't care what you say about Kansas struggling this year. This is still a talented team, and a talented team that knows it can kind of put a better shine on its season by beating K-State in Manhattan. But it's this game that kind of challenges Kansas State, sandwiched between that emotional KU game and what was a very emotional and physical Colorado game. And you can't lose sight on the Mountaineers, because when they're at home playing at night, as they are this weekend, they're good. And this team's still scrapping, and they're going to fight for their coach Neil Brown, who's under fire at West Virginia now that they're 3-3. But they're still 2-1 in the conference. Those 2 non-conference losses mean nothing towards the Big 12 race. So if you're West Virginia, beating K-State puts you right back in a position to contend. They meet at 6:30 Central Time. You don't have to stay up as late. It'll be on Fox nationally, and you can tune in and see if Kansas State is ready to kind of manage its own future, to be in charge of it, to follow up with a good road performance with a second good road performance, proving to everyone that this team can win home and away or at a neutral site. Cats and Mountaineers should be fun. I'll be there, and if you're not, make sure you're watching on Fox. This is a biggie.